Hi, how are you? Welcome to The Witchy Show. It has been decades, centuries even, hundreds of thousands of years since anybody has seen my face. Hundreds of thousands of years. And I haven't aged a day because I'm beautiful, glorious, so on and so forth. So I hope you're having a fantastic day, even though you're probably not, given what's going on in the world. But you know what? The Queen is here. The Queen is going to make everything better. I don't know how, but I'm just going to do it. I have all of these notebooks with all of my witchy stuff in them. Topics, that is. And I wanted to talk to you about... I've got them written in 2 different books. I don't know why. I just do. Accept it. This is who I am. This is my life. I'm disorganized. I'm a Virgo, supposed to be super organized, but, you know. If anything, I'm mostly impatient with people who are late. But we're not here to talk about me or my shitty life. We're here to talk about why I work with demons. Okay? Why? Why the hell does anybody want to work with evil, dark spirits practicing evil, dark, black, horrible magic that causes boils and rashes and all of this other crap? Because you're a fucking idiot, that's why. If you're sitting there and your first thought when you think of demons is anything Christianity, then you've basically got it mostly wrong. I say mostly because some of the demons in these grimoires and books and so on and so forth are demons that were encountered by very heavily religious practitioners at the time that created the circles, and they communicated with the demons and so on and so forth. But a lot of this is considered to be mythology. It's considered to be fake. It's considered not to be real, which in essence could, in theory, mean that witchcraft itself isn't real because it's all mythology and stories and one moment. So one could, in theory, argue that everything from Christianity all the way down to witchcraft is all fake, hooey-booey, bullshit nonsense. And if you're an atheist watching this, then fuck you, fuck your country, and fuck your mother. So... because there are other people out there who take this very seriously. There are people who work with God in their craft. They call themselves, some may call themselves as Christian witches, and others may just consider themselves a witch who uses God as their deity. And there's nothing wrong with that. And then you get on the other scale where you've got witches who maybe work with the nature, or work with demons, or work with spirits, or work with this, or work with that. But there's this conversation on TikTok and sometimes in Facebook groups about how anything that's not nature-based isn't either A, real, or B, it's very dark and malevolent, and you shouldn't go there, and you're going to get into all kinds of troubles, and blah, 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 blahs. At the end of the day, it's up to you to make your own damn decisions on what kind of craft you practice, and not allow other people to tell you what you can and cannot do, or what's real or what's fake, because people are fucking stupid. I've been there. You've been there. We've all been there. We've all been fucking stupid at one point. Just realize that you've been fucking stupid and move on with your life. So why do I work with demons? Because you're not begging or pleading or praying or whatever it is that you do to communicate or ask your god or goddess or entity or whatever the fuck you work with for help. A lot of times I see people who post or talk on TikTok or on other YouTube channels about how their god or goddess has ignored them and they've been in very desperate, dire situations. And there is usually a reason for that, because they are not there to hold your hand. But demons, on the other hand, don't give a fuck. They will just plow through most things and just get you what you want. Some require you to work with them a lot longer in order to achieve the goals that you want. For example, if you need rent tomorrow, you wouldn't go to a king who's probably going to take 3 or 4 months to basically build out your life for you. You could go to Clonic, but he'd probably rip your life apart just like the Morrigan would, so then you're homeless, jobless, moneyless, and basically at rock bottom, and then he can start helping you. So there are ways in which these demons can help you. Some of them do require you to work with them longer to form an established relationship, and some of them can generally just be called upon, like Clonic, for example. I have also just called upon Boone, but I kind of have a relationship, although fading, with Boone. It's also another thing to understand that you don't just have to work with one demon and set up an altar and a space and all of this other stuff like you would with the Morrigan or Hecate or whatever other god or goddess that you want to work with, or the saints even, or your ancestors. So there's a little bit less work depending on how you're working with demons, because there will be people in my comment section who are fucking stupid and they will say things like, oh, the Solomon, you have to do the rituals and the circles and the sigils and and you have to get up at certain hours, and you do whatever the fuck you want to do. Okay, if that's the path you want to go down, motherfucker, you go down that path. I ain't going down that path. I am too old, too tired, and too mentally exhausted by this fucking planet to care about how your rituals to work with demons are supposed to be done. Just because some old white dude in a fucking castle somewhere did it this way doesn't mean that I can't do it a different way and get the same results. Okay, so yourself. Demons also have this. When you tell people that you work with demons, the reaction they give you, like the facial expressions, ooh, that's dangerous, right? Like, it's, part of it is kind of like you want to see people's reactions, and another part of it is that they are effective. Now, most of the time, whatever demon you're working with isn't actually going to go and do the work for you. No, that's why they have legions of spirits, because they send their bitches out to do the stuff for you while you're working, communicating, ritual, whatever it is you're doing with the demon. It's also easier because in a lot of ways, demons are nothing more than more powerful spirits. Just like how the Morrigan or Hecate is a more powerful spiritual energy than your dead grandmother who's buried 30 feet away from your house because you can't afford to bury her in a graveyard or a casket, and now the police are knocking at your door being like, why do you have a dead body buried in your backyard? Why is grandma in your backyard buried under the rose bush, okay? This ain't practical magic, people. But, it feels easier to me. It's less fuss, it's less setup, it's less ritual. And I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people out there who have those established relationships with the deities that I have previously mentioned, and they're able to just get what they want done, but it's that establishing of the relationship and keeping it up and going that can kind of be draining sometimes, especially when you need a quick fix, if you will. If you need something to happen quickly, if you need it to happen now. And again, depending on the relationship that you have with your god or goddess or entity or whatever the fuck you work with, that could be the case where you are able to go to them and you get it quickly. But in my case, even with working with a Morrigan, she's very much a hands-off, figure it out yourself, I'm only going to come in dire kind of situation areas, because you've got your shit figured out for the most part, like you know what you're doing. And with a demon, like if I need, let's say my car broke down, right? And I needed it to be fixed ASAP. Like, not tomorrow, but like ASAP. Then I might start working with demons who are really great at getting shit done now. Not necessarily the whole language, science, math, art, teaching aspect of it, because I don't give a fuck about that. But what I care about is getting the job done quickly. And there are demons out there that are great for that, but I don't know the name of one off the top of my head. I'm a horrible person. I know. Look it up. But if you don't want to work with a demon and you need to get something done right away and your god or goddess or entity or whatever is not going to give you what you want, here's a very quick, easy spell to do. Burn some dragon's blood on a coal that is sitting over top of a Knight of Swords crossed with a Nine of Wands. Because it's going to pour the energy in it and it's going to speed the process along. You have to be careful doing magic like that because there could be unintended consequences. However, if you don't want to work with demons, it is an option. And a lot of people have told me, hey, I don't like when you talk about demons. I don't like this. I don't like that about demons. Okay, what about nature witchcraft? What about doing basic witchcraft? So on and so forth. This is my channel. This is my craft. I don't have to bend my will to you, but I do have subjects on that. So just calm down. I'll get there. So the answer to the question at the end of the day of why do you work with demons is twofold. One, I love seeing people's reactions on their face when you say, I work with demonic entities to get shit done. And two, the get shit done part. There's no fuss, no muss. Unless you're working with Clonic, then your life is going to fall apart. But it's a good fall apart. It's going to fall apart. It's going to feel like shit. You're going to feel like crap. You're going to feel depressed. You're going to feel miserable. But then at the very bottom of all of that, he is going to pull you up into your new reality. Like how the Morrigan and the Clonic work together, how the Morrigan and Clonic work together to essentially give me the financial stability that I have begging and pleading for the last fucking 20 years. Not 20 years, but you get the point, okay? If you don't get the point, then I can't help you. But I hope that gives you some insight as to why I work with demons, and if it doesn't, then just, I don't know, scream at me in the comments, because you know my upload schedule. It's like whenever, whatever. You get a shit ton of videos at once, and then I go away. Love your face.